You're listening to a Rev FM production podcast. Welcome to Pastors Live, the show that discusses things of the Bible and current events for people who love to laugh. And now, the hosts who answer questions with more questions. It's Pastors Dave, Ty, Shane, and the other guy.
Hey everybody, it's Pastors Live. It's Tuesday, November 26th. We've got wonderful people here in the studio. I'm going to introduce in just a moment. We've got comments and questions that have come in. We love to hear from our listeners, and we love to hear where you're listening from. And so, got a couple things. First of all, we have Bible readings today, and we're going to talk about the Word of God a bit together. We are in 1 Peter, Proverbs 29, Psalm 119, and then also 1 Chronicles chapter 7. We do have a couple things coming up. Since it is the 26th of November, we have Christmas Ladies' Night Out, which is December 6th at 7 p.m. And you can go ahead and come at 6:30 for fellowship. Register early at watersprings.net to make sure you have a place for that. Also, Brothers Breakfast is coming up on the Saturday, December 7th, the next day.
Pearl Harbor Day.
And Pearl Harbor Day. And real quick question for you guys is that who's teaching this time around? Do we know who's teaching right off the top of our heads? It's like
I do not.
Yeah, I don't know who's teaching this time. But the guys have been bringing it, though. They've been doing a great job. Yes. Really encouraged by that. Food has been awesome. And so register for Brothers Breakfast also at watersprings.net. And then we have the Water Springs Kids Gingerbread Bash. Ooh. And so the other day we were talking about gingerbread cookies, Shane. You weren't here. You were out helping with the school. So gingerbread cookies. So for you, they need to be soft? Do they need to be hard? What's your ultimate gingerbread cookie? Because we want to just catch you up.
I like a little bit in the middle, right?
Okay, yeah, that's a guy right there.
It doesn't need to be. I definitely do not like hard gingerbread, like where it's like concrete.
Not like that.
Yeah, that's too much.
That's why God made a good hot cup of coffee for you.
That's right.
Or milk to dunk it in.
Drown him. Right?
I dunk it in. Yeah, I love milk in my cookies anyway. So
I baptize you in the name of Juan Valdez. It's a joke, folks. Come on. Easy. Good night. That's easy. That's worship at watersprings.net. Worship at watersprings.net.
Yeah, I like,
Send
I
your
like one where you
complaints there.
can just bite into it. It's crunchy, but it's not going to crumble everywhere. It's just perfect.
Yeah, it's like, yep. All right.
I like
so
crunchy, though.
Speaking of dunking and having, food, a drink with our cookies, who in the room are dunkers? I'm not a dunker. Are you a dunker?
It depends on what it is. Like if we're talking Biscoff, yeah.
Biscotti?
Yeah, Biscotti and Biscoff cookies.
Oh, the cookies. Yeah, the Biscoff cookies.
Both Biscotti as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm dunking.
Yes.
I'm dunking 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, Dave, are you a dunker?
If it's Biscotti, I'm dunking in coffee or espresso. If it's Biscoff, I'm dunking in a nice cup of very hot Irish breakfast tea.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Very good.
Yes.
So Steve,
I'm dunking everything.
You're dunking
Everything. It's going in the milk. It's milk too.
Really?
If it's
Dunkin'
cookies,
milk?
I always have when
Santa
my wife
Claus.
makes cookies, whenever that is. We haven't had a lot lately, but she does. I get my milk and it's going in.
Okay,
Especially when it's warm.
But they're
hot.
But your cookies are burnt. We established that
exactly.
already. Oh, okay.
That's
all right.
good.
That's okay. So
you put them in the milk, and then it's a heavenly delicious snack.
Gary, are you a dunker or not dunker?
I'm a dunker.
You're a dunker. Okay, everything or just biscotti?
Everything.
Okay,
especially biscotti.
Especially biscotti.
I'm a dunker for the things that were created to dunk. I think so. I'm like a biscotti. I'll do that. I'll do other things, but not. I'm not. I don't normally do that.
I don't dunk cookies.
I think I
no
think
cookies.
I think I got in trouble as a kid. I'm having this memory of getting in trouble as a kid for dunking my Oreos in my milk. I think that's why I don't do it anymore. But by the way, speaking of all the stuff that we drink, it is that time of year. I have to ask this question: eggnog? No eggnog. So, are you an eggnog fan?
Never.
Who's eggnog?
Eggnog, disgusting.
Okay, Dave. No. No. Okay, Steve. Eggnog. No eggnog.
Yeah, of course.
Were you watching a sports clip? What were you doing over there?
Something caught my eye. And
we have amazing donuts in the studio again today.
Donuts
and Steve is distracted.
Stuff happening. Yeah. But
do you dunk eggnog?
I love eggnog.
Do you dunk into it?
Of course, why not?
Dude, you are an animal. You're savage.
I know,
yeah, you
man.
are savage.
And I will get eggnog as soon as it comes out.
I think it's a snow
like if it's in October, I'm getting eggnog.
Okay, so I feel like I want to go I want to go to the donut shop with him, get him an eggnog, and watch him dunk a donut in eggnog.
Do they make an eggnog donut?
I bet you they do.
Night,
You know,
Oh, that would Dean, if you're listening, great new donut.
Dean's always listening. For
Dean's always listening.
Eggnog,
yes.
a donut with filled eggnog cream.
Eggnog. Okay.
With the cinnamon on top.
All right, Gary, what about you? Eggnog, no eggnog?
I love eggnog.
You love eggnog?
Yeah.
Okay. I can take it or leave it.
Okay.
I can. Wow. Yeah, I don't. We've experimented with eggnog, but my dad used to make eggnog that was, well, for the adult parties.
No, I've never had
So
the homemade eggnog. I don't know if that is
I
thing.
don't know if I would do that.
Do you
but,
do it warm or cold, Steve?
cold. Ice cold.
like
It's like, yeah.
the consternation in his face and the voice.
It's like cold. What's wrong with you?
Would you do it
Yeah, no,
warm?
it's like, what's wrong with you?
People do it warm. Yeah. It's disgusting either way.
But I put cinnamon in it and little, whipped cream.
So
No nutmeg?
forgive my ignorance here.
Yeah, maybe.
Is there actually egg in eggnog? I really don't know.
I don't know.
I would assume so.
Okay.
Yes.
Does anybody know?
So I don't know, but
As far as I
know,
know,
what, I'm gonna.
it is.
What are
Let's
they?
ask
it up
our
right now.
listeners.
Yeah.
Pastors Live at therev.fm. Pastors Live at therev.fm. Is there actually egg in eggnog? It's kind of, I guess, like asking, is there actually dog in a hot dog? But
That's it's just like that.
right? It's a good question.
Yeah,
It's
there's no.
legit.
Well, we don't know if there's no dog.
No, stop.
Okay, so
Okay,
we
moving
occasionally
on.
talk about the
Okay,
Bible
yeah,
on
we
Pastors
should.
Live.
Yes.
Maybe we should try that once.
Yeah, we
I
should
guess.
do that
Yeah,
today.
if you want to.
And we also have
Good grief.
emails, right?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, but you know what? Speaking of good grief, just so everybody knows, it is Good Grief Day, which pays homage to
Wow,
Linus and Lucy and Schroeder and all those guys on the Peanuts, Snoopy.
It's inconceivable.
So by the way, I'm just saying. Every year, I don't know why every year, but every year at some point, I'm going to watch the Peanuts Christmas.
It's
Yeah,
so good.
well, yeah.
Yeah, we
It's
did
so
the-
good.
Just,
Isn't it
an annual thing.
sacrilegious not to?
We did
Am I wrong?
the Thanksgiving one, and now it's Christmas one.
Yeah, you got to.
What about the Great Pumpkin? Did you watch that?
We watched that one. Yeah, that was the first one.
I have to hear Linus say, I can tell you what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
I know, isn't
And then
that
read
awesome?
Luke 2.
With his blanket.
He drops his blanket.
He drops
he
it.
drops
He says,
it.
Right,
"Lights,
yeah.
please."
Right, lights, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the one scene in all of the cartoons where Linus puts his blanket down.
Right.
Because when he's talking about Jesus, he doesn't need. Oh, I'm going to cry. This is weird. Sorry,
It's so
but
good.
he doesn't need.
it's awesome.
He doesn't need the security of his blanket.
Right.
He puts his blanket down to talk about Jesus. I love that.
But Dave, isn't that so true though for us as well? That we just
Yes.
don't need the security of this world when we
Right.
have Jesus.
You don't need anything else.
Yeah, we
Nothing.
need Jesus. We need Him, and
There may be those things that drive you to
got
Him
goosebumps now.
or that bring you to Him. We read it last week in James when we were going through the book of James, when he says, when you draw near to God, He will draw near to you. He doesn't say He might, He could, it's a possibility. He will. When you draw near to God, He will draw near to you. I was telling you about a friend that I've recently made who is coming out of another very anti-Christ religious system. And it's just been wonderful watching the progression, even just in the last couple of weeks, where they're realizing, man, the more I read the Bible, the closer I get to God. And I'm like, yes, isn't that amazing? And she's read through the Gospel of John. We went through 1 John together, and just reminding her, you know, when you draw near to God, He will draw near to you. And just watching some of the old stuff just drop off. I love it. It's like Linus. Oh, we're going to talk about Jesus? I don't need this blanket. I love that.
well, yeah, and I love the fact that as they're animating that and they're working with Schultz and all that, there's that moment where there's some recognition amongst all these artists and amongst the writer to say that when we focus on Jesus, the things of this world have to fade away.
Yeah.
We can't just
lights,
keep,
please. Everything goes dark.
Yeah.
But Linus.
Right. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it's the dialogue, right?
Yeah.
Because it's Luke 2.
It's Luke 2.
And the word of the Lord never returns void.
So think
right?
about that. Luke 2 is out there every year. You know, I mean, who's going to be brave enough to try and cancel Linus?
Right.
You like there's
You can cancel a lot of actors, entertainers, politicians. Don't touch Peanuts.
yeah
Leave it
Peanuts is
alone.
off limits.
Well, that's how you spark a rebellion, in my opinion, because, man, if you haven't watched A Charlie Brown Christmas or just
What
Peanuts.
rock have you been living under?
Yeah, start now. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the Operation Christmas Child.
Right.
You know, we have some families that have never done it. Start now, and then they never stop. They never stop.
Speaking of which, we've only got a few minutes left, but this is really important. I want to make a very important announcement right here on Pastors Live, if I can. Steve Redmer can no longer say that he has not seen The Princess Bride.
Oh, it's true.
It's
Inconceivable.
inconceivable.
There it is. So Steve came over to the house last week.
Yep.
And we got some pizza.
Yep.
And watched Princess Bride. I think our next guys' night, movie night, we watch Charlie Brown Christmas.
I concur.
It's Christmas, Charlie Brown,
I'm in for
So
that.
good.
right?
Oh, yeah.
So
There you
good.
go.
That would be awesome.
We'll even put our pizza down while Linus reads Luke
Yeah,
2,
we will all shut everything down.
Right?
No, moment of silence.
Moment
while
of
he's-
silence as Linus
speaks.
quotes Luke 2. That's right. Hey, speaking of how different people respond to different things, we have this great email from our good friend Christine here in town. And Christine writes, I've been very naive when it comes to the different denominations and their styles of worship. My limited knowledge comes from you guys. And watch this. And from the Babylon Bee.
Okay. Wow.
She continues, I just praise and worship how the Spirit moves me. I try not to hold back when it comes to giving God the glory because our God is just too awesome to hold back.
Yeah,
Love
that's
that,
good.
Christine.
That
is
just
awesome.
puts the biggest smile on my face.
Right. Yeah.
Now I'm pumped up for the day. Thank you,
Right.
Christine.
Yeah.
Well, this will pump you up. Look at the next one from Terry McDonald down in Salt Lake City. This Ty ought to read this one because this is your this is your
This is from
wheelhouse.
Terry McDonald, Salt Lake City. He goes, I'm a drummer, and I definitely don't sing.
And definitely is in all caps.
All caps. Yeah, I
Well,
definitely don't sing.
Let me just say this, Terry. According to Christine, God's too awesome to hold back. So,
Let it rip. Well, and that's the
they
beauty.
don't have to mic you.
Well,
Right,
yeah.
as long as there's other people around. I mean, hey.
Well, you know, when you
And no mic.
Well, yeah, when we're studying the Psalms, right? The Psalms are so beautiful, and especially if you can kind of put yourself in the moment and the poetry of it. But when you look at the end of each one of the books, there's a little doxology at the end of
Right.
each of the 5 books. But when you come to the last psalm, it actually looks like the last psalm is a doxology.
Yeah, the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Psalm 150,
And it's
yeah.
in Psalm 150 that we hear this. We hear make a joyful noise unto the Lord. And so we see the scriptures about shouting to the Lord, making a joyful noise unto the Lord, to use drums and cymbals,
Right.
and a harp of 10 strings and a lyre, and the instruments of that time are fascinating. But there are the cymbals and the drums and all this stuff. And when you look at the archaeology, and there were instruments that they used. And some of those instruments,
See-
may have come with them out of Egypt.
And we do have
so.
the 10-string guitar. It's just a double neck.
There you go. They make bass strings too.
Yeah,
They do.
Yeah, they do
Right.
make-
They're fun to play too.
Yeah.
Well,
But
yeah.
I, when you say shout to the Lord, man, the first thing that comes to my mind is shout to the Lord, all the earth, let us sing. I love it, man.
Shout
I
to
love
the
it. And it just, to me,
Pastors
it's like,
Live in concert coming to a studio near you.
to me, it's like the psalmist is just encouraging the body, the people of God. Just go for it, man.
Yeah, just have
Just
some joy.
go for it.
Just have some joy and
Unto the Lord.
have some joy
Unto
unto
the
the
Lord.
Lord. We just,
Yep.
it was fun for us. We just had our one of our baptism services about a week or about 2 weeks now, 2 weeks ago now, all less than 2 weeks ago. But we had such a wonderful time and just celebrating with people that have given their lives to Christ, that are committing to follow Jesus, and I'll tell you what, man, my heart is just overjoyed to see those things, and we celebrated and we cried and it was a beautiful day.
Most of the time I'm joyful, but this time I had tears of joy. I don't typically cry. Most of the time I'm smiling, clapping,
And it's
cheering them
especially
on,
hard
right?
to,
But this time I had some tears of joy.
especially hard to lead a song when you see some of that happening.
Right.
Oh, right,
Because
absolutely.
it hits you hard.
Yeah, Erica was really glad that she was able to come over when her kids were baptized.
Yeah,
and,
right.
But when Tim was up there helping me second service, and then when Aaron came up with the kids and stuff,
Right.
I'm just like, and then his daughter, I'm just like, oh man, So
For those who don't, if you didn't follow it, Pastor Tim, who has his podcast here on Rev Radio. It's not Dog Watch anymore. Cop Talk, is that what it's called?
Yes.
Gary, right? Cop Talk, yeah. Pastor Tim got to baptize 3 of his grandkids. He and his son Aaron baptized them together. And yeah, if you could watch that and not be a blubbering mess, you're a better man than me.
Yeah.
I was losing it.
There's a couple youth kids that came up too that I was super proud of, and just a great weekend, man.
It's just
And
awesome.
again, we're seeing the same dynamic, which just it blesses my socks off. We are seeing the dynamic of, no, I've never been baptized. This is my first time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, sweet, man, this is
that's what
the
it
way.
is.
we had a conversation and we were talking about baptism. We were talking about this thing that we were seeing about people being baptized over and over and over and over again. And we had that conversation about what does that really look like?
Right.
Do you need to be rebaptized? And I think we came to that point where if it's a conscience issue, you should, but you don't need to be. One of the things that often happens for us is when we feel that need to make that public confession sometimes after we've been saved and walking with the Lord for years and we've been baptized in obedience, what's happened is we've just been walking in the world and we're just covered in the world's junk.
Right.
And we just need to come to Jesus and let Jesus wash us afresh and anew with the washing of the water of the word. Or, like the idea of it's like a foot washing, so to speak.
Yeah, I love how you brought
But
that
it's
up
like,
in that
yeah,
teaching
it's-
that
yeah.
weekend, because that's exactly it. When Peter freaks out, right? He freaks out, no, never touch me, Lord. And then he's like, if I don't do this, you have no part with me. And then he freaks out again on the opposite end. Well, wash all of me. And Jesus is like, yo, just chill down. You've already been bathed. It's good. I just need to wash your feet, right? And I like how you brought that into the teaching and like, hey, just let Jesus wash your feet, man. It's cool. You don't have to kerplunge again, so to speak.
Right. And this last time I was thinking to myself, it's like, okay, so we have a place where we're baptizing people. Do we need to have a place where we're washing people's feet if they're just in that place where, like, I've just been walking in the world? Maybe we need to do that.
When you ask me, the answer.
Oh, yeah, I know your answer.
Yeah.
Dave's answer is always, when it comes to foot washing,
I went
Dave's
out,
answer is
Shane
always
went
yes.
with me. We went out and bought the basins, the pitchers, the towels. They're right there in the communion closet, ready to be used.
Yep.
But the other dynamic, let's go to the other side of that. We have a lot of people who were baptized when they were 8 years old in our area.
Or infants, yeah.
And
10.
when they are coming into that born-again experience, they're coming into a new relationship through faith in Jesus Christ, they're not asking permission from anybody. They're
Right.
saying,
This is
I'm
the
getting
Lord.
baptized.
Yeah.
Because I'm being baptized into Christ.
Yeah.
And not
Of
into
my own free will.
Not into a faith, not into a church, not into a religion. I'm being baptized in Christ.
Yeah.
And
It's beautiful.
they don't have any question about it. They know.
Yeah.
I need to be baptized.
This is my decision for
This
Christ.
is my decision. This is
That's-
my memorial stone moment.
I love it because that's typically the verbiage that they use. This is my decision.
Yeah.
And I love that because to me it speaks of liberty and the freedom of Christ.
Right. And we love everybody. We love everybody in our area, our region, our neighbors. You know, we love everybody. We do. But we also recognize when somebody has made that decision,
Yeah.
I am making I have decided to follow Jesus.
Yeah.
Now I'm singing it.
They don't have to be experienced, or pardon me, they don't have to be persuaded,
Yeah.
right? It's their experience.
Yeah.
And they're saying, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And I just love that. It's
Yep.
it's a big moment for them.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's their Ebenezer stone, so to speak.
It's sincere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that. So.
Yeah.
No, I think that's awesome. Hey, listen, everybody, we're running out of time for today. You are loved, you are family. Never forget that. Hey, join us again tomorrow because tomorrow's National Jukebox Day, so we'll probably have to talk about some of our favorite music. Hey, God bless you. We'll talk to you then. Bye.
You've reached the end of another episode of Pastors Live, a Rev FM production podcast. Thank you for listening. Submit your questions and comments by email to pastorslive@therev.fm. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review from your favorite podcast listening platform. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon so you don't miss the next episode drop.